Hi there, my name is Madison. Welcome back. Today, I hope you guys don't mind, we're just going to jump right on into it. Today is a little garden errand day with me, so right now I'm just doing a little bit of morning gardening prep before getting started with the rest of my day. But for the most part, I was just trying to get some seeds ready and all of the plant tags ready to go before running my errands, and then eventually we get around to planting a few of them. But hope you all don't mind joining me for the next couple days as I get my garden planted and ready to go for the remainder of the garden season. I am honestly very excited. However, I'm still a little bit nervous since this is an entirely different garden zone and it feels like a desert here already. Okay, so currently I just have the tomatoes planted, and then over here we have a mix of spinach, arugula, some onions, and celery thrown in all together. So far, this is what we got. So in many years past, I would pretty much focus on tomatoes and pepper plants as well as quite a bit of herbs. And then obviously your summer squash like yellow squash and zucchini. But this year I did want to venture out a little bit more. I was hoping to try my hand at canning, so I did buy a few paste varieties as well to attempt to make my own tomato paste, and then obviously just some regular old tomatoes and cherry tomatoes and everything else that you could possibly want to add into your salads. As well as this year I did plant some cucumbers. That's not something that I've ever liked in previous years, but I surprised myself when we went to Greece this past year that not only did I like tomatoes by themselves, but I also like cucumbers for once. And then this year I also did try to grow some leafy greens. I think I maybe should have started even earlier than I did because, quite frankly, I think the heat turned them pretty bitter a lot sooner than I would have hoped. And then, as you'll see later on in this video, I picked up some fun goodies at our local farmers market and plant shop and plant nurseries and just everything you can possibly think of. But for now, that's the end of today. It was just a quick little gardening session to get going because honestly, I'm already running behind. Alright guys, welcome back. So today is my first full week back after going on that trip to Colorado with my family. And it's also pretty much mid-April, which means there's so much I need to do in the garden. I have been slacking. I meant to start a lot of the seeds indoors, and I just never, quite frankly, got around to it, which means I need to just directly sow them into the garden beds and just pray for the best. But I also have partially not done that because I don't have enough soil to cover all of it. Starting a new garden bed from scratch has been a lot of work and honestly a lot of upfront costs too. And we hope to be here for somewhere between 2 to 5 years, ideally around 3 or so, we will see. So the cost will eventually make up over time, but for now it is a lot up front, so I've been trying to just spread it out. But today's gonna be really fun, so it's gonna be a lot of errands, as I said, but we're gonna start off. I finally printed off some photos for a little gallery wall situation that we have in our bedroom. I've always wanted to print off our wedding photos, and quite frankly, for a long time, it just didn't bring me the joy that I wanted it to. And I just always was wanting things to be perfect. I wanted our previous house's bedroom to be perfect, and that just never happened before we left. I bought these with the intention of using them in that bedroom and never got around to it. So now I am printing off the pictures. They are already ready, so I just need to run over to CVS and go grab those, and then I'm gonna drop by, I think, Goodwill. The shelves that I showed you guys probably a month ago or more, they're just empty. I want more stuff to fill them up. Not like it has to be full, but I want a few decor pieces to at least be placeholders until I find things with maybe a little bit more meaning or just things that bring me a little bit more joy and or more unique. But you never know what you find at Goodwill, so we'll see. And then I'm gonna swing by our local farmers market. It's really a shop, but all the farmers just collect it and bring it to the one place from what I've been told from the owner, and he just sells it and distributes it on their behalf. They also just got in a whole shipment, huge shipment of all the flowers, bushes, fruit trees, fruit bushes, all the things you could possibly think of, they probably have right now, and I am so beyond excited to go check it out. So hopefully there's some success there. And then afterwards, the farmer's market obviously also has produce. I need to do some grocery shopping, and then anything that they don't have, I'm probably going to pick up at Aldi and or Kroger. Actually, Publix. We don't have Kroger here anymore, at least not in my area anyways. But yeah, that is my plans for today. And then once we get back home and unload all the things, I didn't mention, I also need to run to Home Depot, because that's what we have over here, and get some more potting soil and garden soil and compost to fill that up. So we're going to do that. But then when we get back, I'm going to work on the garden before it gets too hot. And if it gets too hot, I'll probably do it later in the evening when it's a little bit cooler. But regardless, we are going to have a functioning garden here soon. Fully functioning. I've had the trellis built for a while. The garden boxes took me a long time to just fill and source all the different layering aspects to it that people have recommended to me. So they're ready to go. They just need soil, and then from there I can plant my seeds and just pray that they all come through. Because also these seeds are old. They were a gift during a class that we went to that was kind of status post-COVID. The seeds were given to them before COVID, so they are now over 3 years old. So we will see what happens, but fingers crossed it works out, and let's take you guys along for the day. Okay guys, these are so good. I'm so excited. Look at these. I cannot wait to have these printed off. Or not printed off. I already had them printed off. Cannot wait till these are hung up in our bedroom. Anyways, that's enough, but I had to show you all a sneak peek. Alright, welcome to one of my favorite places on earth, aka any nursery out there. There were so many interesting plants that I've never seen before, considering that this is just a little bit warmer of a climate, therefore the hardiness zone is that much better compared to things that I'm used to seeing in Kentucky. And our little farmer's market does a really good job of partnering with some of the local nurseries, as well as obviously some bigger nurseries too. Kind of the same way it goes for the produce that they sell too. I would say about maybe half or so is locally grown, and then the other half is definitely mass produced somewhere, to my knowledge, from at least the way it looks anyways. But I picked up a few lovely little eggplants. That way I could try my hand at making some baba ganoush and some other things too. And then I also did pick up some of those Roma tomatoes like I was telling you guys. That way I can try to make some homemade tomato paste and or just use them on some pizzas and in some homemade garden pasta. That's one of my go-to dishes, so these were absolutely a must. And two, they would also provide some more tomatoes sooner than those that I'm starting from seed, since obviously y'all know that I'm starting later than I should be. Something I really love about shopping at this farmer's market is that I feel like I run into so many people that just live in the area, and as well as a few of the local chefs. At least that's what they tell me that they are anyways. And that's always fun, is getting to talk with them, see what they're shopping for. Like, I know one of them legit bought the store out of tomatillos. After taking many of the groceries back home and just unloading them, putting them up, went back out and ran over to Goodwill to drop some things off to be donated, but also, of course, I had to run in and see what they had as well. I was really just looking for some shelf decor, as I said, but really the only thing I ended up finding was that peach basket, or a little harvest basket. And there is a chance that I may very well put it on the shelf as decor, at least temporarily, but for the most part I really did intend to use that in the garden. Okay, so this is the only thing I got, but I figured it would be great for gardening purposes. And then since I was already out and about, I went ahead and ran over to Home Depot to go pick up some more garden soil. That way I can get started with the rest of the planting. Alright, welcome back. It is now after lunch. I ran out to Home Depot to grab a few more bags of soil. I also grabbed myself another apple tree because there's been this whole dilemma. So initially I bought a pink apple, or pink lady apple tree, and then I bought a wine sap. I forgot that wine sap apples, or a triploid, or whatever it's called. Essentially it needs 2 other varieties to actually get pollinated. So I just bought myself a third apple tree, which is an Anna apple. I asked the guy at the store for help because I wasn't entirely sure. I know that they can pollinate other apple trees, but I just want to be sure so I didn't get into the headache of buying a 4th apple tree. Right now I have a peach tree and 2 apple trees, or 3 apple trees, and there's still a chance that the peach tree may or may not pollinate. It's supposed to be self-fruiting. We will see. However, I'm taking you guys along on this gardening adventure because despite asking for help at the garden center, there is a high probability that I'm gonna have to buy a 4th apple tree in addition to the other 3 that I already have and a peach tree. For the record, I live in a, I guess, suburban-ish neighborhood. I don't even know if my HOA allows a whole freaking apple orchard on the side of your house. Thankfully we live in a court, and so no one's really gonna see it other than those that live next to us at some point. But I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I guess we'll find out after this season whether or not it was successful. But for right now, I'm gonna take you guys along and go plant all of, distribute all of that soil so we can actually get to planting all of my seeds. I also bought these guys at the farmer's market earlier, so I got a paste variety of tomato. So we got aroma, and then these little sad guys, they've been in the heat, I guess, a little bit too long without water. But I also got some eggplant because it's vining, and I figured I could probably put it along the trellis and let it grow up along with the other squash and things. So I'm gonna plant these guys real quick. This is just the other Roma tomato. They're gonna go in with these guys. And then I need to figure out where the 4 little eggplant seedlings are gonna go. Obviously they're going by the trellis. I'm just not sure what I'm gonna pair it with quite yet. Alright, so now is probably as good of a time as any to show you guys my planting plan, I guess. So here's what I'm going to do. So this right here is this garden bed on the right. And then this, sorry. This one right here is the one that's on the right. This one right here is the one that's on the left over here. This one has not been planted at all yet. This one now has tomatoes here, lettuce, some onions, celery, more lettuce and spinach. And this one has acorn squash planted. But here's everything I'm going to try to plant today, or at least partially today. So over here, right there, is where I need to plant my cucumbers and my butternut squash. I'm also thinking of probably interspersing the eggplant, sorry, here or on the other side of this one, and then on this as well. I planted the acorn squash very full just to see if we get seedlings out of it. I'm not sure if the seeds are still good or not. The pepper seeds all grew really well, so this over here is going to be my pepper bed. And hopefully it's as prolific, if not better, as last year. Then I just need to plant my squash and my zucchini. Honestly, I probably could plant more of these because we go through it so fast. I just don't want to overcrowd it. So we shall see how much we get out of those, and if there's ever any extra space, we can always add more things in as we go. Then additionally, I figured I'd show you guys what else we have. This, I believe, is the peach tree. Over there, that is blueberry bush. Little tiny bush right there that you can't see by the tree is the raspberry bush, and then the one that you can kind of see that's bamboo staked right there is blackberry. This is my wine sap apple tree. That is the pink lady, and then this is the new one that is yet to be determined as to where it's going to go. It may very well go there, but that is the Anna apple tree that the guy at the store recommended to pollinate these two guys. Let's water these guys and make sure they perk back up. Okay, and then I figured I would show you guys the seeds that I bought earlier at the store because I didn't have any. Some butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and then just some salad cucumbers, hopefully. Doing good so far. This is seriously one of my favorite hobbies. I could quite frankly spend all day out here as I plan to do today. Look at that. Look at that too. So I think I've also realized that one of the reasons why I love gardening so much is because it just takes me back to my childhood. It's a hobby, it gets you outside, but more importantly for me, it reconnects to my roots. When I was growing up, I used to go out to a farm that my great-grandparents had. We would go out there all the time, and they had horses and all the animals. They had the biggest garden you could ever imagine, and they had a canning cellar. And so anytime I garden, it really just takes me back to the time I got to spend with like my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather. So it's really special to have, and I hope that even if you don't have that history, that you find some joy in gardening as well. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to it. The construction guys are staring at me, so it's fun time.